If there is one thing that absolutely no one should unironically be offended about in Halo Infinite, is the cat ears cosmetics they recently added. But somehow a channel by the name of the Womboom, who many of you may know since he regularly uploads some of the worst takes on Halo Infinite I've ever seen, decided to upload a video getting salty over people buying cat ears for their Spartans, because it isn't lore accurate, and promotes the microtransaction system in Halo Infinite's free multiplayer. Now I don't know about you guys, but my main issue with the store isn't necessarily the prices, it's the fact they aren't offering me enough value for the prices they have set. If they were more experimental with their cosmetics and started adding more and more stuff like the cat ears, I probably wouldn't have a problem with it. They don't necessarily need to change the store prices, but what they do need to do is improve what they do offer for those prices, something the Womboom seemingly can't wrap his head around, which surprises absolutely nobody. I mean, the guy in the video we're going to be looking at today complains about the Season 8 skins for the Master Chief Collection, something I thought everyone unanimously agreed were great, and I hope to see skins like those in Halo Infinite. But instead of complaining about actual problems with the game like the netcode and big team battle mode not actually working if you're in a fire team, he decides to cry about cat ears, which I personally find both incredibly hilarious and incredibly pathetic. So without further delay, I'll let the video play.
Hey there, this is the Womboom, and today we're going to be talking about the cat ears cosmetic in Halo Infinite. Because while the cat ears by themselves aren't really a problem, there's a couple topics surrounding the cat ears that I gotta get off my chest.
I mean, if the cat ears aren't a problem, then what the fuck is the point of this video? I couldn't possibly upload a video as pathetic as this, and I make videos on goddamn PS5 fanboys, which aren't even remotely close to as pathetic as this. Why do you care what other people spend their money on? The game is free, you don't have to spend a dime. I swear these motherfuckers would rather play dress up with their Spartans than actually play the game. It makes zero sense. The cat ears are exactly what 343 should be doing more of in the cosmetic store. It's because of people like the Womboom that 343 Industries are too timid to experiment with their cosmetic offerings, resulting in the mainly lackluster shit we've been seeing. Let them make the cosmetic store more over the top, because if you don't, then what the hell else are they gonna do other than overcharge you for colors? You are literally going to complain about the problem whilst being one of the main causes of said problem.
So let's start with the main complaint I have. I hated seeing my Twitter thread go from shitting all over the store, making fun of anybody who buys a cosmetic, encouraging people to only buy cosmetics with Microsoft rewards points, and just all around hoping for change, hoping for it to be better. So then the cat ears cosmetic was released, and I cannot believe how many people on my Twitter thread were wearing the cat ears.
Cry me a river. There is a term muting feature on Twitter for a reason. If you are so completely and utterly pathetic to the point you cannot handle other people spending $10 on fucking cat ears, then that is a you problem, and one that is easily fixed. It isn't a problem with the game that you saw tons of people buying the cat ears on Twitter. The fact that unironically angered you tells me it's far more of an issue with your mental state than the game. In no world should seeing other people spend $10 on cosmetics in a game bother you to the point of making a video crying over it, unless they're NFTs. Also, for anyone unaware, even if you buy cosmetics using Microsoft rewards points, you are still giving them money. You are not bypassing the system like you think you are. In order to get those points, you have to either be subscribed to Game Pass, aka paid service, using Bing where Microsoft sells your data for money, or buying stuff. You are still giving money to Microsoft. It is amazing how these pseudo-intellectuals think they've magically bypassed the system, when in reality they've been played by Microsoft.
And my entire Twitter page was just loaded with people buying the cat ears.
Gonna cry?
And what's so gross is that the discourse was either defensive or sort of ironic, like, oh, what are you gonna do? The cat ears gotta be bought for the memes, you know? And judging by how many people, when I talk about Microsoft rewards points, don't know what the hell they are, I'm guessing a lot of people, you know, brought out cash for this.
Well, no shit. That is usually how people buy things. And I still find it absolutely hilarious that this guy unironically thinks he's finessed the system. You have still given Microsoft money in order to get those points. And either way, I can guarantee you that this person was someone who was complaining at launch about a lack of customization options. But then as soon as the developers give us more diverse customization, they cry about it for little to no good reason. The people using Microsoft rewards points to quote unquote not give 343 money are complete fuckers. fucking morons. 343 isn't tracking the $sign attached to each storefront item. They're tracking how many people have purchased it. If they see that tons of people have purchased it, they'll know to do more things like that in the future, because eventually you will give them your money either through rewards points or through cash.
Now, spend your money however you want.
Keep this clip in mind for a few seconds later, because in a moment he completely contradicts himself.
But I'm going to talk about it however I want. Brief tangent for a second. Just because you can do whatever you want, that isn't a defense. That's just not a defense. Yeah, everybody can do anything, okay? Things have ramifications, things have consequences.
If you thought I wasn't being serious when I said a few seconds, then there you go. This man couldn't even keep his argument straight for a few seconds and failed to.
Keep that same energy.
Like, come on, if you're trying to get people on your side, you're going to have to do better than simply saying there will be consequences. Because so far the only consequences I'm seeing is creating more salty man children who I can milk for ad revenue, along with better cosmetics being added to the game, whether that be through the store or future battle passes. Either way, I'm down for both.
And people aren't going to agree with the thing you're doing or supporting or providing. You know, there's a lot of things like that. Like, just because a game is free doesn't mean it's immune from criticism. Just because you can spend your money however you want doesn't mean I'm not going to complain about it.
Go ahead. I am all for you complaining about people spending their money how they want to, after you said it was completely fine for them to do so. It does after all make me money and entertains the shit out of me. Seeing people like you cry over non-issues like this will never cease to entertain me.
You can watch whatever you want, dislike whatever you want, leave nasty comments on whatever video you want. Wanting to do something has nothing to do with this.
You know, I have a feeling that the wildly negative responses he gets to a lot of his videos is starting to get to him, guys. You can hear the pain in his voice when he talks about the nasty comments. For a guy who was earlier complaining that people weren't getting bullied enough for buying cosmetics in Halo Infinite, you sure do seem to have thin skin yourself. And wanting to do something has everything to do with this. I don't even know what argument he was trying to make when he said that, because it doesn't at all make sense. His whole video is about how people shouldn't want to buy the cat ears or any microtransactions in the game, even if they want to. It's literally the point of the topic and he's saying it's irrelevant. Like I'ma buy myself some cat ears if I goddamn want to.
What I'm worried about is that 343 saw that people were not okay with the in-game store, not okay with buying in-game cosmetics, not okay with how the progression system and cosmetic systems are being handled in this game until they put out something trendy and memey, then it's all okay.
I don't know about you guys, but the more memeable stuff they put in the store, the more I'll buy. Most people aren't interested in paying $20 for a fucking color change. You know what they are interested in? Unique and fun stuff. In all honesty, it's incredibly tempting to just buy anything memeable in the store now, simply because of this salty man child. His video so far has only encouraged me to buy more cosmetics in the game out of spite, and mainly because I want to. I would much rather they add fun shit into the store than the current boring garbage they have been putting in. And just like I said earlier, this guy's literally causing a self-fulfilling problem. I don't quite know how he's confused about this as well. The main problem people have with the store is the fact that what 343 Industries has been offering for the set prices hasn't been worth it at all. The cat ears, in my opinion, were worth the money I paid. People want more cosmetics like this. They don't want the simple reskin trash 343 has otherwise offered us. But then here you are complaining no matter what they do.
This reeks of the anime bundles that you see in like modern Call of Duty games where they slap an anime girl on something and everyone whose, well, personality is I like anime goes out and spends $20 on the day.
There's something shouting out at me here, and I'm not quite sure it's all that obvious, but comparing charging for cosmetics in a $60 game to a free game doesn't quite make all that much sense. 343 has to make money from the multiplayer somehow, my guy. They aren't a fucking charity. But either way, who cares? If people want to buy an anime pack and the devs want to sell that, then what is the problem? You do not have to buy it. It is optional. It is a choice. They are not forcing you to buy it. I feel like no matter how many times and no matter how many ways I say the same thing, this guy would be far too stubborn to develop common sense. Some Spartans running around with anime Uru glasses should not bother you. If you want lore accurate stuff, then go play the campaign. Multiplayer is not for that and never has been.
So that's frustrating to me. Now it makes more sense in a modern combat scenario where you're playing as a sort of fictitious, super specialized, customized operator.
That sounds an awful lot like Halo, which is a pretty hilarious coincidence considering what you're about to say. How on earth did you fully edit this video and then watch it back without realizing you are perfectly describing Halo in that clip? The intelligence of some content creators never fails to impress me.
Yeah, okay, you might be a weeb in a modern day setting, but it just really sticks out poorly in Cold War. When they inevitably do it in Vanguard, it's gonna look really stupid. And in Halo, I'm sorry, it just doesn't fit.
You keep saying one thing and then 2 seconds later saying something that completely contradicts your previous statement, and I genuinely want to know how you do it. How do you consistently contradict yourself like this in a single video? You blatantly described Halo and essentially said this type of cosmetic perfectly fits in Halo, and then a few seconds later said the opposite. I'm starting to wonder if you ever listened to the audio whilst editing your video, because I failed to see how you didn't notice your consistent contradictions here.
I mean, Halo has a very iconic aesthetic, something that 343 took a lot of work into preserving. Like, before you say aesthetics and looks don't matter, if they didn't matter, then 343 wouldn't have scrapped the Halo 4 and 5 art style and gone with more Bungie style designs. Cosmetics, aesthetics, they do matter. They are sort of the soul of a visual medium.
Wait until this guy realizes that Bungie's version of Halo was far more cartoony than 343's, and that these cat ears would not at all look out of place in a game like Halo 3 when it comes to the multiplayer. This is absolutely the type of guy to cry about the fact that the Doomicorn skin exists in Doom Eternal. I wouldn't say that exactly fits into the style of Doom Eternal, but I also don't see anyone complaining about it, because guess what? People like to have fun. I know you might not like to, but not everyone wants games to be insanely boring or hyper-realistic, especially when it comes to a game like Halo.
Like, you can play Halo without headphones. You can play Halo with one analog stick, with an N64 controller even. You can play Halo a number of different ways. You can't play it without a screen.
You definitely can, you'll just suck at the game. And even still, 2 triangles on top of a Spartan is not going to drastically quote-unquote ruin the art style. It's going to improve it. I can't wait to see how this guy reacts to the Doom Bloom cosmetic item they'll more than likely add to the store on Tuesday. Because according to him, it doesn't fit Halo. But then again, it also does fit in Halo according to him. God, this man's lack of ability to keep his story straight is just making this video so much more fun to make.
It's a visual medium. And the aesthetic of Halo, I think, is really important. So, custom shaders that look a little silly, yeah, alright, I can take that.
But you can't handle 2 triangles being on top of a Spartan. I don't think I've ever heard something so completely as well as utterly pathetic in my life.
But this is my next point. What is the slippery slope here of how silly this game's going to get? We already saw what they did to the MCC, which, I'm sorry, this image right here gives me Chinese mobile game ripoff of Halo vibes, more so than Halo vibes.
I honestly didn't realize anyone had a problem with the Season 8 MCC skins until I watched this video. From what I can tell, everyone loves them, and I for one want 343 to bring skins like those into Halo Infinite. I would not at all mind dropping $20 in order to get something similar to my MCC Spartan in Halo Infinite. In fact, I would love to. I can guarantee that most people watching this video wouldn't mind that either. The main issue with the store right now, as I've said earlier, isn't necessarily the prices. It's what they are offering for those prices. And skins like what they've recently added to the Master Chief Collection would, in my opinion, be a perfect fix to this.
Like, I'm not saying Halo needs to be realistic in the way that maybe you might argue a World War II game should be realistic, but I'm definitely saying that I don't like the Halo aesthetic kind of being thrown out the window little by little.
In all honesty, I think you just have no idea what you're talking about when it comes to Halo. The cat ears unironically fit the Halo aesthetic from the Halo 3 era, that you weirdly seem to think was this hyper-realistic and serious multiplayer shooter. It wasn't. I think you seriously need to reassess what you think the older Halo games were like, because they are far more similar to Halo Infinite's cat ears in terms of aesthetics.
Like, you want to attach a teddy bear to your armor? Okay, that's a reference to Legends.
You quite literally cannot make this shit up. It's supposedly okay for a Spartan to be running around with a whole ass teddy bear attached to him, but it's not okay for a Spartan to have 2 triangles on his head. What kind of dumbass logic is that? In no way, shape or form are both of those 2 things different. They're both fun things you can buy in the game that aren't realistic for a Spartan to wear. You can't say one is okay and then say the other isn't what's making sense. Although I really shouldn't be surprised by any of this, since the guy's probably a major player in the Halo subreddit.
Okay, but then you want to have the flower on your helmet, then you want to have a pizza charm hanging off your gun, then you want to have a crazy Christmas shader, and then you want to have cat ears, and then maybe the pineapple grenades. When does it stop?
Hopefully never. I want to eventually be able to run around as a Spartan decked out in Peppa Pig themed cosmetics. As long as there are still visible Spartan armor on the characters, I want 343 to have free reign in order to do what the hell they want. I want my visor to show Nico Avocado OnlyFans in it, so that the final things my victims see is one of the most disturbing things anyone can ever see. However, that unfortunately will never be possible. If you're looking for a line, it's probably going to stop at NSFW content.
How silly will this game look down towards the middle end of its life cycle?
At this point, I'm going to say something I never thought I'd hear coming out of my mouth. I want it to get as messy as Fortnite, in the sense I want to beat the shit out of people with a gravity hammer which has the end of the hammer replaced with a unicorn head.
How messy will this game look? Because a lot of people are telling 343 with their wallets, with their money, that hey, you want to make money? Put some like meme-worthy shit in the store and I'll buy it.
And boy am I glad they are doing that, because so far there has only been 3 things in the store that I think were remotely worth considering buying. Those being the Iron Man coatings, the Into the Breach bundle, and obviously the cat ears. Apart from that, I couldn't care less about the items that have been in the store. However, if they were more experimental or more like Season 8 of the Master Chief Collection, I'd be far more interested and subsequently far more inclined to spend money on the game. You seem to just not like Halo, in all honesty. If you're looking for a game that takes itself super seriously and never adds meme-worthy stuff, Halo is not the franchise for you, and I have no idea where you got that impression from, because Halo 3 had fire helmets and even Halo Reach had some meme-worthy shit in it. You're far better off playing the more realistic shooters on the market than Halo.
Put something in there that's really funny or ironically cringe or super ooh-woo cute, and you'll get my $10-$20.
You are damn right they will, and your video has simply convinced me to do it more often. Not to stop doing it, or even close to convincing me to stop encouraging it.
I don't like slippery slope arguments because it basically implies if you do X, Y will occur, but I think we're already seeing the Y occurring for what I talked about back during the MCC, and when I was talking about the weird armor sets and things they were adding and what that might mean for Halo Infinite. Now, I don't want to be a hypocrite, so I do want to say I did purchase the HAZOP armor set, but I did do it with Microsoft rewards points.
Translation. As you were attempting to outsmart Microsoft, you ended up getting played, and are now in your infinite wisdom are trying to explain to people that you are better than them because you gave Microsoft money via an alternative method, and were too stupid to realize that you still gave Microsoft money. I really do not understand how this guy is taking a moral high ground over using Microsoft rewards points in order to buy microtransactions, because he still bought them. Also, you've got to love how he's saying he doesn't like slippery slope arguments, but half of his video was making one, and 2 or so seconds after saying that goes on to defend/make one again. I'm not even sure this man can keep a coherent argument going if he tried, in all honesty.
But I also want to point out, when that HAZOP armor set was added like a week ago, everybody was very upset. I saw people saying, hey, read the room, you know, you are tone deaf, we don't want your store, we don't like your system. It was a lot of negative backlash to putting HAZOP armor, which is apparently a pretty, popular armor, putting that in the store. Seemed rather upsetting to a lot of people.
The reason people were angry about that was because the armor is Halo Reach themed, and people think it should have been in the Battle Pass since the Battle Pass is Halo Reach themed, something I can partially agree with. I don't think it's possible for you to have missed the point to do with people's anger in that situation more if you tried.
I've had a 6-inch McFarlane HAZOP figure on my desk in my room since I was like 12 years old, and he's not always been on my desk, but he's been around for a while. And being able to make a Spartan that looks like him means a lot to me. I'm sorry. And I made sure that I didn't spend my money on it. I spent Microsoft rewards points on it. So basically, Microsoft bought it themselves.
You quite literally couldn't have done a better job of proving that you are absolutely clueless. Microsoft rewards points are not free. They come from Microsoft selling your data, you buying stuff, or you being subscribed to Game Pass. All of which put money in Microsoft's pockets. And all you're telling me here is that you're a giant hypocrite. Instead of memeable items being what you fall into the supposed trap of buying, it's nostalgia bait items. Only difference is you got played twice by Microsoft and most people didn't.
But I still feel like in some way I supported the system, so I do kind of want to out myself before wrapping up the video.
My man's acting like he's making a confession in church. You didn't do anything wrong when it comes to buying those cosmetics at the time, but you did do something wrong as soon as you got on your high horse and tried to talk down to people for buying cosmetics in a game when you did the exact same thing.
I'm really curious to see what you guys think about this, because for me personally, I don't like the way this stinks. I don't know how many weird and silly and goofy and meme-like cosmetics they're going to add until the game just looks absolutely silly. I mean, we already don't have red versus blues.
We do have red versus blue. It's just shown via the shield coloring rather than the color of your Spartan's armor. Sure, you can change the colors, but that's entirely optional, and unless you change it yourself, then you still have red versus blue. Now we finally reached the end of his video, and frankly I'm so glad we did, but it unfortunately also means that we've come to the end of my video. So with all that being said, please do not forget to do all the things YouTubers love to pay you to do, aka check out my Discord server, follow me on Twitter, as well as like, comment and subscribe. So now we'll see you all in the next video.